I mean, it was just like,
All right, at 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Has the meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has.
Moving on to recognitions. Anybody from the board have anything?
Read today, there was a new Nietzsche report out, and Platteville Public Schools were in the top 25 in the state of Wisconsin. I think they were ranked 16th, Jordan, is that right? And our teachers were rated A+, and our academics were rated an A. It was kind of nice to see.
Outstanding.
there's one more thing that, that happened over the weekend at the basketball game, and we were forwarded, the parents of the basketball players, a really nice email from Coach Hoosier. Just really, just telling us about how the words that he received from the coach that we played against and lost to were pretty, were just positive. He named players and the things that they did, and in the event, you know, we're going to Beloit, and Beloit Memorial had such a horrendous issue at their game. I mean, it's just a shining example of the good in the world, and our boys, our school, our coaching staff, you know, our families produce these kind of kids. So it was really heartwarming. And there was even the Beloit Daily News had a little blurb article. So
Really cool. Anybody else from the board have anything? Administration.
Not sure if I even want to follow that. That's a really good moment. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to our music folk. We had solo ensemble at River Valley this past weekend, and those kids had a lot of them had a recital on Thursday, and it's just so, they're just so nervous. It's just so new to them, and to see them go through that process and have the courage to go up there and perform in front of the judge, and the music teachers do a fantastic job. We had a showcase concert this morning, where we had the orchestra, the band, and the choirs performing for our 5th, 6th, and 4th graders. So I have to give a shout out to Westview. We had 4th graders in the building. They were fantastic, kind of introducing them to the opportunities that present to them at the middle school level, and to see their young faces and take them upstairs. And lockers are still a big deal. That's never going to go away. That's a big deal and when they come over to 5th grade. But just again, the music staff doing a great job. So.
It's been a amazing and very busy couple of weeks at the high school. So just want to give a number of shout outs and congratulations. First and foremost to the cast and crew of Bedlam and Breakfast. They had 5 outstanding performances if you count the ones that were for the high school and middle school students. Rachel Kelleher and her staff did a great job. So it's always amazing to see students in character on a stage and just so well performed. They did a really wonderful job. Big shout out as well to the math team. They competed in the SWC math competition, and we had 25 students go, and 23 of the 25 brought home medals, which means they finished in the top 3 in their division. So did a really outstanding job representing Platteville High School there. We have incredible numbers for enrollment for spring activities, spring sports. Track started on Monday. I think there was 130 students right now that are signed up to be part of the track team. Girls soccer numbers are also incredibly high. I just got a report from Mr. Pink on that. So just really excited for spring to get here. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we can celebrate spring very soon.
I would like to recognize the return of our middle school special ed teacher, Dakota Lovell. He has returned from his military leave. He's put in a couple days this week. He's going to gradually come back. And then once we return from spring break, we have Dakota back full time.
Very cool. All right, opportunity for public input. Do we have anybody signed up? We do not. We will move on to information discussion items. Neil Wilkins Early Learning Center updates.
You'll note there isn't a whole lot there, and that's because the job for the most part is close to being finished. Our students have returned to the classrooms. The next hurdle will be to wax the flooring that was put down. And the schedule right now is to accomplish that over spring break.
Awesome. Next up, budget preparation.
Repeat item over the last couple of board meetings, and since our last meeting, we have met with the staff, and we discussed some of those items. The slideshow, there's a new slide. And we talked about the different ways of either doing a 5% or a percentage to each cell, or a percentage to the base. But a new way to look at it that I think merits more consideration is finding that mean teacher salary and applying a percentage to that. So when we meet again on Monday, we'll discuss this with the staff. Some other items from that would be, we talked about emergency closing. What will be our plan? Right now, we don't have anything written down in our handbook. The goal is to, let's get some language written down so everybody knows going into it, and we can just manage that better. They're coming up with different ideas, and on Monday we'll discuss those. Another item would be PTO, sick days, how to manage those. The problem we're running into is our language says you must use PTO days first, sick days second. But there are many scenarios in which a staff member had a planned event, they were going to use their PTO days, but then they used all of them up, where, well, let's have the ability to use sick days as well. So there's language around that, and we'll come to some sort of conclusion. The schedule would be presented for the board's consideration in April, give it 2 weeks, and then hopefully have a final handbook for 23-24 at the end of April. Letter C, facilities improvement update. We have a whole lot of action items that are later in the agenda, and I'll spend some time describing those. So we're looking at the activities complex portion. That's what a lot of those action items are for. But we are still meeting on a regular basis to try and do that design phase for all the 4 buildings and all the other projects with that referendum amount.
Any questions on anything on the information discussion items? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
5B, you have the minutes of our previous meeting. 5C, we have the financial report from February, in which total receipts, $4,162,476.10. Total disbursements, $3,824,684.19, and then all of the line items to follow. The board also has the monthly report from PMA with our bond investment for our review.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Colleen, to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Any questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion and a second to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Matt, to adopt the agenda as presented. Any questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to action items. 22-23 calendar. Should probably be 20, yeah.
No, this is for this year's calendar.
You're right.
Yep.
And our situation right now is that we will, with our scheduled days remaining, we will not have enough minutes of instruction. So another item worked with some staff on, and the proposal, there's A and B. I am in favor of proposal A. And the priority that we looked at was, what's the best way to recover instruction and learning? There's a lot of different ways you can look at this. None of them are perfect. Perfect would be having school on those days. That would be the best scenario. But a solution put forth that I am supporting is on March the 17th. That is the Friday prior to our spring break, and that wasn't a student contact day. We'd like to run a pilot of what a lot of our neighboring districts are doing with their asynchronous learning. If you watch the scrollers when schools are canceling, they're attempting this way to do it asynchronous. And this would be grades 7 through 12. The reason why only 7-12 is because the minute threshold for pre-K through 6 is significantly lower. Pre-K through 6, they have that. They are on schedule to meet their minute requirements. But on that Friday, if we could recover 240 minutes of instruction, we're going to attempt to do that. And then the Wednesdays for the fourth quarter, we have 10 Wednesdays. We can have a full school day as opposed to now we have early release Wednesdays. So we have a full school day, and then the collaboration happens once the students are on the buses and they're released. Then the staff should have 50 minutes or so of collaboration time on the Wednesdays. So there's a trade-off there. But in my view, let's recover that student learning as best we can, and this gives us our best opportunity. The challenge with this, I see, will be having our 7 through 12 communicate with the parents, explaining, here are the expectations. Here's what we need to do.
Are those Wednesdays then full days just for 7 through 12, or is that would be?
District-wide full days for all students. And you go back to those students lost 5 days as well.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just curious, schedule-wise, how that would.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second.
To approve proposal A, is that what we're suggesting?
Hey, yeah, as Jim presented it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So we have a motion by Kurt, second by Colleen to approve proposal A as presented to recover the minutes of instruction for the current school year as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to some retirements.
Yeah, 7B is the retirement of Mary Weigel in our district office. We'd like to thank Mary for her years of service for our students and also wish her well. And Mary is an employee in good standing, so I'd recommend we honor the retirement package.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Steve to accept Mary Weigel's retirement effective June 30th, 2023 as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Biology teacher.
Another retirement, Ann Cronky. Again, I'd like to honor the service that she had for our students and thank her for the dedication to learning in our district. And she as well is an employee in good standing, so I'd recommend she receives the retirement benefits.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Jessica to accept the retirement of Ann Cronky as a high school biology teacher effective at the end of this school year as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Part-time housekeeper.
Yeah, I would like to just repeat what I've said before, to thank Joan for her years of service to our students, the dedication to the district, and as also an employee in good standing, and I would say she can have all of the retirement benefits that she is able to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Betsy to accept Joan Sanders' retirement as part-time housekeeper at the Neil Wilkins Early Learning Center effective June 7th, 2023 as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Fall 23 applications.
So we have the early college credit, Start College Now, College Up applications for the board's review. This is the time of year in which the district must approve these applications, so then the students can apply to go to those institutions and see if the schedule works out. They then have that opportunity. Before we talk any further, I would like to make a note, this list is growing. And that's a good thing for our district, that we are continuing to offering more and more opportunities.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Kurt to approve the Fall 23 ECC, SCN, and College Edge Up applications as presented. Any questions or comments on those? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Handbook language.
So this is handbook language that was worked through the program committee, and upon approval, this handbook language would be in effect at the end of the meeting. So this will be into the 22-23 employee handbook. We have this language, we currently, in our handbook, we just didn't have anything to help our guest teachers have success. Either having support, giving them the structure that they can then get into that position. And also, we have with this a communication sheet in which the guest teacher can say, here's how the day went. The cooperating teacher can then go back and say, here's some other feedback, goes to the principal. I just see it as an opportunity that we haven't taken advantage of, how to increase the capacity of our guest teachers. Once this is in place, I would allow our offices until the start of the fourth 9 weeks to really start to employ it and make the guest teachers aware of this.
And we hopefully are going to go to an electronic version.
Yeah, good point. It was stated in program, let's try and see if we can make this electronic. In order to get it up and running right away, we're starting with paper, we're going to learn some lessons, and then eventually build that into it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Jen. Yep. To approve the guest teacher employees and the employee handbook section as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now on to the activities complex bid contracts.
So I'm going to start off capturing action items G through P. This is a major step on our process of the facilities improvement projects. First significant purchase, understand that the referendum is $36 million. This is our first piece of that $36 million. Keep in mind that we have our own timetable of completing this whole referendum project in December of 2024. I say that to get out in front of what we have right now for our activities complex, just that portion. Right now, we're under budget. But I would refrain from going out and saying, listen, we're under budget, and it is awesome. Because there's a lot of months between now and then. There's a lot of different projects. Let's wait until everything is completed, and then we can say we accurately completed this project. With that in mind, we'll go through these action items. Just a little bit of different vocabulary. When our board looks at contracts, we are anticipating a written contract that has some legal standing to it and their signatures on it. In this process, and working with Point of Beginning, the way that they differentiated the different jobs was they called them different contracts, and they labeled them alphabetically like we have here. So we have to do a little bit of translation with that. What our board is going to be able to do here for these items is to approve a bid. That gives that dollar amount for that work. After the bid is approved by the board, Point of Beginning then develops those contracts. Those contracts are then submitted to the district, and I'm able, I believe myself and probably board president, would sign those contracts as long as they're underneath that dollar amount that we designated. If there are any changes, significant changes, so in our rules it's $15,000, that comes right back to the board. And because it is such a high-profile effort when you have a facility referendum, they'll be in front of the board. We'll make sure that people know what is happening as we go through the process. There are others that are still out there with the activity complex. This isn't everything with the activities complex. It's a lot of it, but there are still some things that we'll have to work through. So we'll be able to come back and revisit those. Now on to contracts A, B, and C. So in reading the language that I included there, in partnership with Point of Beginning, our district is prepared to award contracts for the activity complex. This project was approved at the November 8, 2023 election. The bids were collected on February 23rd of 2023. Point of Beginning then reviews each submitted bid for accuracy and details. On March 7th, the Operations Committee, Core Group, met with Point of Beginning to review the bids and prepare the attached document. And that is this document that we have in front of us. So the reason why that first action item is saying contracts A, B, and C, it is a result of how one of the businesses submitted. Owens Excavating and Trenching, they submitted a bid for A, B, and C, and in their bid language, they had stated it's all or nothing. It's all A, B, and C or not. And in reviewing that, we had a local company, Rural Excavating, that when you look at that number, Rural Excavating was lower than Owens. But when you compare the savings that A, B, and C put together, it was close to $590,000. So that $590,000 compared to the $7,000 difference there, my recommendation would be to go with Owens for A, B, and C. And if you want just a simple algebra equation, the savings A plus B plus C was greater than what rural had to offer. And it's kind of confusing. So if there's questions, I'd be glad to work through them with you. But with this action item, I would approve Owens for contracts A, B, and C.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Steve, to approve the bids from Owens Excavating for contracts A, B, and C as presented. Any questions or comments on that?
I just have one question. I realize that there's probably a great combined savings for all three, but was there a significant reason why the contract B bid total for Owens was about $500,000 less than Mills Flat Work? Was $1 million?
I don't know the reason why, but those were the two that put in bids. Millis is over on the eastern side of the state. Maybe they would have to factor in transporting all of the equipment across the state and then staging it.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to contract D.
Contract D, I would recommend approving the bid from Iverson Construction.
So moved.
Second.
And we had other bids come in for that one.
Correct.
Motion by Colleen, second by Jen. Sorry, I can look over that way better. To approve the bid from Iverson Construction for contract D as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to contract E.
Contract E, the recommendation is to award the bid to Fisher Tracks.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Betsy, to approve the bid for contract E from Fisher Tracks as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Contract F.
Contract F with fencing, the recommendation is to award the bid to Fink Fencing, noting that there is a $3,000 difference, but being a local company, we felt $3,000, and that's a decision we can make as a board. We normally want to be fiscally responsible, but keeping this business local, I believe the $3,000. And I know the next question can be, but what about rural? But I go back to, it isn't just that one contract day, it's the combination of all three that made that significant. Whereas $3,000, I believe, is worth that investment.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by, I think Jessica got in just under the gun there, for contract F for Fink Fencing as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Contract G.
Contract G, we had one bid, and I would recommend awarding the bid to Correct Digital Displays for the scoreboard division.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Betsy, to approve the bid from Correct Digital Displays for Contract G as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to Contract H.
Contract H, the electrical division, we had one bid submitted from Schmidt Electric. My recommendation is to award Schmidt Electric.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Steve, to approve Schmidt Electric for Contract H as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to Contract I.
Contract I, the masonry and carpentry division, we had one bidder. I would recommend awarding this bid to Myron Construction.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Betsy, second by Jessica, to approve Myron Construction for Contract I as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Contract J.
My recommendation is to award the bid to Midwest Sport and Turf Systems, LLC, for Contract J.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colleen, second by Kurt, to approve the bid from Midwest Sport and Turf System, LLC, for Contract J as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. On to Contract K.
I recommend the board approve JW Industries, LLC, for the bleacher press box contract.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Steve, to approve the bid from JW Industries LLC for Contract K as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Contract L.
My recommendation is to approve Musco Lighting for the stadium lighting contract.
Moved.
Second.
Motion by Betsy, second by Jessica, to approve the contract for Musco Lighting, Contract L as presented. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Before we move on to the next item, thank you to Scott from Point of Beginnings for being here. He helped us walk us through all of us through the process, got all of this together tonight, and really appreciate you showing up. And if we had any questions, you were here.
Yep.
But we talk a little bit about the timeline. Is that all right? Or no?
It's not really on the
Yeah,
agenda.
you're right. It's not on there.
So moved.
We'll talk after the meeting. Motion to adjourn from Kurt,
Second.
second by Colleen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned at 7:29 PM. Thank you.